This is Shine On, the Health and Happiness Show, an Ella's Leash production. Heard as a podcast around the world, but heard first on radio stations 100.7 WHUD FM and Real Country 920, 1260, and 1420 AM, all in New York's Hudson Valley. Shine On, bringing you healers and dreamers and people who want to make life richer. It's your time to shine on. Hi, it's Kacey. Thanks for shining on today. Have you ever gotten a message from the divine? I have got a little story of synchronicity today that you might like. It flipped me out. Sarah Weissman is here to talk about how the universe is always talking to us. And then we're going to talk about some surprising and exciting news for people diagnosed with ADD and autism. You're going to meet a behavioral optometrist, the first one I ever met. Now, if you know someone of any age diagnosed with ADD or autism or any such designation, or if you know kids who hate reading and they're acting out in school, maybe you want to take them to a behavioral optometrist. This is Dr. Samantha Slotnick. What does a behavioral optometrist do?
We work with children and adults who have vision problems that interfere with their ability to read, to learn, to comprehend, even just to pay attention.
Wow.
So, yeah, we get people of all ages. We do have a lot of kids in my practice that they just need extra attention, understanding, patience. For example, a patient may come in and the parent says, the kid is misbehaving every time that they are being asked to sit down and read or do a worksheet or, try to do some handwriting exercises. Is there something going on in the visual system which is making it uncomfortable for them? Because it's only in these situations where my child is acting up. There's often problems in visual comfort, and a child doesn't know to say, I don't see comfortably. They just avoid the task and create other intrusions on the task.
It sounds to me like this would be just a field ripe with misdiagnosis in terms of, can kids be diagnosed with ADD and things like that when they really just have...
You hit the nail on the head.
Right?
Yeah, because there's studies out at this point that show that many of the symptoms of ADD, ADHD, and convergence insufficiency, which is trouble using the eyes as a team at mirror, many of these symptoms overlap almost one-to-one. So how do you discriminate if there's an attention problem or just a visual input and gathering problem? The answer for some parents is when they say something to me like, I don't know, my child is smart in everything but school.
Yeah.
My child is smart in everything but school. It takes hours to do what should be 20 minutes worth of homework. Those are suggestions that there are problems with the interaction, but that smart in everything but school tells you the child is probably able and willing and interested in learning, but there are situations in which they are preferring not to set their mind to the task. And then it's a relatively straightforward process to identify, is there a visual problem that contributes to this discomfort at near point, which makes them choose to act up in the scholastic and academic situations?
Wow. And
when there is, sometimes it's so simple. I mean, I can tell you so many cases where I just give a pair of reading glasses and the behavior changes.
Right.
It opens a whole new lease on life. And the thing is that it's often not picked up at a pediatrician when a parent goes for a screening and the child says, the child reads a 20/20 line and the pediatrician or the assistant says, oh, vision's fine,
right.
But that's not vision, that's only eyesight. And so they're not getting a comprehensive vision screening, certainly not in the way that they use their vision in the classroom.
Right.
They're going off with a false sense of security that everything is hunky-dory and fine, and my kid's vision is checked out.
Eyesight isn't vision. I mean, that's
no.
right there. That's a big statement for a lot of people to just digest. Let's go back to when you say it's fairly simple. So when people come into you, it's fairly simple to distinguish if they have these, what do you call them? Vision?
Well, vision dysfunctions, there's a variety of different diagnoses, but globally, these are problems that affect the ability to focus efficiently and effectively. So when I say focus, I don't mean mental focus, but inside the eyeball itself is a lens that changes shape with muscles that we use to adjust whether we see clearly for far or for near. And most people rub up against that when they start to get into their 40s or 50s, and we say their arms get too short. They start holding things farther and farther away to see it clearly because they're having trouble adjusting their focus at near point. So the average adult will not see this problem in their young years if everything is working smoothly and as it ought to work. But when I write a prescription, that's the same as I would write for a middle-aged adult, but I'm writing it for a child to help their focusing system. That's sometimes, because they have trouble controlling the focus. So they may not have developed that skill of muscle control. Kind of like a camera on autofocus, where the autofocus is on the fritz and you see it kind of zooming right past the clear spot.
Yes.
We have better cameras nowadays than we used to, but if you can go back a decade and remember, this camera's not working right, it's just going right past the focusing point. And so that would make it really uncomfortable for a child to sit and read or to sit and do their math homework.
Right. So maybe there's nothing wrong with their brain. It's something with a muscle inside the eye.
And it's not just a muscle. It's really neuromuscular.
So you work with different tools that that retrains the neural pathways in their brain?
Yes.
Okay,
said
great.
it perfectly.
What are those tools?
They include lenses where we give them an opportunity to make an adjustment or change. We might patch an eye during an exercise so that we isolate certain structures so they learn to identify, this is what I'm moving. We use, for binocular dysfunctions like eye teaming problems, we may use special glasses that separate the left eye and right eye image so that the two eyes can realize when they're working together, where each eye gets a different vantage point for 3D images, for example, or we have slightly different color glasses between the two eyes to help them with that. Or we're working also with just as simply as the eyes and the hands in exercises that develop that facility and control over aiming closer and farther, focusing for closer or farther, tracking left to right and top to bottom. And then we do sometimes computerized games that help to expose an area of the back of the eye, an area of the retina, so that the peripheral vision is getting used in a more effective way, where they start to learn to process visual information in their peripheral vision, because that's really what holds the two eyes working together as a team.
Dr. Samantha Slotnick. She's in Scarsdale and at drslotnick.com. Behavioral optometrist, drslotnick.com.